Oh no.
Now I'm just adjusting my cheekbones to keep smiling all the time.
You know, being an entrepreneur was always my dream, like as a designer, as an artist.
For the viewer's perspective, why did you happen to jump into Roti? Why not start a car leasing business? Why not a car rental?
Out of 30 brands, I could not even eat a single brand. You know, what's inside that roti. So, but when I found that out, I wouldn't want to eat that roti or feed my child. So I spoke to my husband about it. Said, you know, we can't find a roti anywhere, so why can't I start something like that? So then the question was how it's going to start, how I'm going to make it.
I had this one question in my mind. There are so many rotis in the market. What makes FreshRoti.ca's rotis irresistible? And how is that you differentiate that from what's already existing in the market?
I wanted people to get addicted to my recipe of roti. Generally, in a household like, Asian households, we eat roti 3 times a day.
Here's a personal question if I could. Who's Tania?
To all the people, focusing especially for women, that just come out of your comfort zone.
Hello everyone, welcome to How We Started. Are you someone that's thinking about starting a new business? Are you someone that's already drawn your vision on your vision board and thinking to take that first step? Are you someone that wants to go from 0 to 1 in terms of starting that new business where you're already an existing business owner? If yes, in our episode today, we are going to meet Tania, a successful transportation business owner. However, she didn't want to stay in that comfort zone having run that business for 10 years, but she decided to get out of the comfort zone and start a new unknown business from scratch, FreshRoti.ca. And today, she's already sized it up to a level where she is distributing across Ontario, Canada for her roti business. And in today's episode, we are going to hear from Tania in terms of how did she get out of her comfort zone, how did she put her thought process in terms of starting FreshRoti.ca, and how did she scale up and what her future plans are. So stay tuned. Before we begin our episode today, if you find value in our content, please do like, share, and subscribe to How We Started so we can deliver more interesting and more valuable episodes like this to you in the future. Welcome to How We Started, Tania. We're so happy having you here.
Thank you. This is very exciting. I'm really looking forward.
Awesome. So today is going to be a very exciting show and we are going to give a lot of content to our viewers. And let me start off by asking you, how did you go from your existing business to the current business? What kind of culinary adventure did it really spark, and how did your passion lead to where you are today?
Wonderful. So I would start by saying that I came from a design and architecture school. So my creativity was always like the spark was always there, and being an entrepreneur was always my dream. Like as a designer, as an artist, you're always an entrepreneur because you're selling your design. So that and my family background was always like everybody's a businessman and entrepreneur. So that the genes were always there. And when I moved to Canada, a lot of my both my business are because it was my personal need that I felt that was a gap in the market, and that's how the idea started. I would just talk about my first venture, which I started. I'm in my 10th year now for that. It's called Let's Buggy. I started with my sister, and my family really helped me to start that business. I saw the gap in the market where I could not find a licensed service for my child to pick him up from school and bring him home. There was no service in town, which was a licensed service, which I could trust. So that's how the idea of Let's Buggy started. We got the licensing done, and now we were in the 10th year. For my new venture, I'll just give you briefly how it started, was that I again saw a gap, which was I could not find a roti in the market. And there's a brand in the market which comes from US and always gets out of stock. It comes in the retail stores for a certain time and then goes out of stock. And so I felt that I could not find a roti. I spoke to multiple people around me, my family, and everybody was going through the same problem. Like, we can't find a roti which is healthier to eat and something that we would like to give our child. So last October, this idea came. And so I spoke to my husband about it. Said, we can't find a roti anywhere, so why can't I start something like that? And it was something completely out of my box. It was something very new to me. I had never done anything related to food industry. So my husband said, yeah, just give it a shot. So October, this idea came. November, I started researching. So I researched a lot of rotis, like about 25 to 30 brands, which are already in the market. I took pictures of every brand. I took it home. I ate it. I tried it. And I think out of 30 brands, I could not even eat a single brand that I would want to eat, which is a healthy roti. So then, the question was how it's going to start, how I'm going to make it, So I looked into a lot of machinery that could automate the process of making roti and also give it a handmade touch to it. That was the idea behind it. So, finally, in November, I found a vendor who does the machines, and we ended up ordering it. And I knew it was coming in February. And then the biggest challenge was, how the space is going to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how this journey started.
Wow, that's exciting. That's quite a journey. You make it sound so simple, but I'm sure there was a lot of hard work that went into actually doing this. That's awesome. Like, it's really great to understand what you've done. It's very interesting, especially for someone that's never been in the field of food and beverage, and you kind of going there and researching and starting. That's awesome. But I have this one question in my mind. There are so many rotis in the market. What makes FreshRoti.ca's rotis irresistible? And how is that you differentiate that from what's already existing in the market?
Correct. So my idea was that even if, you go see multiple brands, every roti has a white bleached flour in it. And most of them use sugar as a preservative. And my idea was that I wanted to use pure ingredients, which is without maida, which is white flour, and sugar, because generally in a household like, Asian households, we eat roti 3 times a day. Sometimes we're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and it's every household eats roti. That's as far as I know. So we were eating a lot of sugar and a lot of white flour, which was my idea, that I want to create a recipe which is different, light on your tummy, and you don't feel guilty after eating it.
That's awesome. So you took the existing habit of eating rotis on a daily basis and made it more healthy so you can have guilt-free eating.
That's correct.
That's awesome. Simple, yet very powerful.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to jump on to my next question here. You had Buggy as your first business. You've been there about like 9 to 10 years as we were speaking. And for the viewers' perspective, why did you happen to jump into roti? Why not start a car leasing business? Why not a car rental? Something that's related to transportation? Because if you see Buggy and food and beverage, these are two ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
Why did you choose roti?
All right. So as I said earlier, that, the idea for my businesses always came out of my personal need. And that sparked the idea. And that's how I developed the business behind it. So I think I would say Buggy was also my need. And that's how it started. And roti was, of course, as I mentioned, was my personal need. And then I researched around, multiple families, my community around me within the radius of about 10 kilometers. And I saw that in that radius, everybody had the same issue. So that's how I jumped into something very completely new out of my box.
Okay, that's great. So for anyone that's wanting to start a business, this is a great takeaway. For any gap in the market, it's already there in front of you. There could be experiences from your personal life, from your everyday life. And if you can take that one problem area and try to find a solution, that could be eventually getting into a bigger business idea, and you could become profitable. Great answer, Tania.
Thank you.
All right, here's the next one. Once you had this idea in the head, what kind of market research did you do? Did you have some kind of a methodology with which you approached this problem? What are the gaps that you found in the market? And how did you put action once you found those gaps?
Okay. So as I mentioned, I did do a lot of personal research. I went to a lot of stores, grocery stores, stores who are selling roti. And I actually went into testing those rotis and figured out, what's inside that roti. So, but when I found that out, I wouldn't want to eat that roti or feed my child that roti. So that was the research behind it. And I wanted to come up with a recipe which was simple, healthier. And it just gets hooked to your tongue. That was my idea. Like, I wanted people to get addicted to my recipe of roti.
Now that we kind of like understood your thought process of actually starting the business and all that, for my perspective and the viewer's perspective, here's a personal question if I could. Who's Tania? What was your background growing up? And outside of work, what do you enjoy doing? We would like to know a little bit about your personality so that
Sure.
we can understand why you started this as well.
So Tania is somebody who's fun-loving, very energetic. I would get along with any age of people. I love kids. I love my family. I've always been a person who brings people together and a lot of joy. I believe in joy. I believe in sharing happiness and helping others. That's what I am. Somebody creative, somebody who's always looking for something new and exciting to do, and that's how. And it always shows in my business as well.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about growth. Now that you've started, you're in the business now for a few months, and the rubber has finally hit the road. What kind of growth strategies do you have in mind for your business, FreshRoti.ca? And generally, who's your go-to person? Like, suddenly, like in the middle of the night as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you wake up and it's like, this idea could work. So who's your go-to person in terms of strategizing these plans?
Right. So in terms of the growth, right now I'm in a state where I'm trying to streamline a lot of processes. I want to make sure that if I am not there, my business can run on its own. That was the idea for Buggy as well. It's a lot on auto now. So everything that I do, I document it, every process, every recipe, every move that my other people do. Like there's like a whole process that I'm doing. So it's all documented and it's all written down. And in terms of growth, I'm just trying to make sure there's less wastage now. It's a lot of, because of course when we were trying a lot of recipe, there was a lot of wastage. Now we're trying to decrease that wastage. We are trying some vendors who give me the all the material like the wheat, the oil, the salt that I use on a better price. So I found some vendors which is helping me decrease my cost because I'm now buying in bulk. Also, my idea was to have my foot in every big grocery store in the towns that are around me. For example, Brampton, Mississauga, Milton, Burlington, Oakville, Hamilton. I just want to make sure that my foot is in every big store. And the idea is to reach, Costco. That's my dream. And that's what it is. And when you ask me the go-to person, I would say it's just my husband. He's been very, very supportive. He also has his job, which is very, very time-taking. But it's my husband and it's of course my dad at the end of the day.
Okay. Again, this goes on to say that no business can fly high if you don't have the support of the family.
Definitely.
That's great. Good to know. And also, I think there are a couple of other important takeaways from your answer, which is look at what kind of resources you have and optimize it. For example, you said about like buying in bulk. You talked about how you can actually document it so that the business can actually run on its own, even if you're not present because you're out there selling or marketing. And also kind of like recruiting the right people to take care of the business, that's great.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. So now that we kind of like talked about growth strategy, my next question is going to be in terms of the licensure. In any business, especially in Canada, licensing is a big part.
Correct.
So what kind of certifications and licenses you had to obtain to start this business? Mainly, what are the challenges that you faced? We want the viewers to understand if you can give a little bit of tidbits. And if you were to do the same thing again today, how differently you'd have done it so that you don't make the same mistakes you'd have done.
Right. So as I said that I did not have any food background. So there was a certain, food handling certification that I had to do to understand how I will be working around, the product that I'm making. So that was something that I had to go through. Also for the insurance of your kitchen space, because we're working with a lot of employees, working with fire, electric, a lot of our material is like that. So we have to take care of all that. So the licensing part I had to go through. Also for the getting the kitchen was a biggest challenge that I faced, because generally if you're starting something new, you don't want to put up a 2-year or 3-year lease because I don't know if this idea was going to work. So fortunately, I came across this space called Ghost Kitchens in Etobicoke, where there was a nice gentleman who helped me get a lease for 6 to 8 months. And that was perfect for me because in my idea, I knew I will grow out of it. But what if it fails? So I kept my options open. And, but fortunately, I'm already looking for a bigger space because, the business has proved itself already in the span of 3 months. And I will be probably moving out very soon in a bigger space. Fingers crossed.
Okay, good luck to that. And we really wish that this business is going to grow leaps and bounds.
Thank you.
We can already see that with the efforts that you're putting in. Again, so I'm going to talk about the operational, day-to-day operations. How does your typical day look like at FreshRoti.ca? Are you one of those hustling entrepreneurs who work 16 hours a day? And if yes, I'm sure, where is that you spend majority of your time?
Right. So generally speaking, my day starts very early. People say, oh, it's just roti. But for me, it was like getting that perfect roti that I wanted to create. It did take me a lot of time. So my day started very early. So I was making sure my son was taken care of. And he's 13 now, so he's pretty much independent. But I do have that, that I want to spend that time with him as well. So I would make sure that I go at 6 a.m., but I'm back by 3 p.m. so that I have time to spend with him as well. So that's how my day is. Generally, I sleep early, but I make sure that my work starts very early, so it's done on time.
Okay, that's good to know. The other important aspect of any product that goes to the market, especially as a startup, is to have your price as competitive as possible, because when you start up something, you're not producing in bulk yet.
Correct.
But still, you're competing with all the big players in the market.
Right.
And with the current inflationary challenges in the market and the economy, how do you make sure that your pricing strategy is set right that helps you win the penetration in the market?
Yeah. So, for me, it's just, it worked out pretty well because my focus was a lot on my packaging, how you're looking at the roti package. Generally, how you see in the market, the packages is just, the concept of fresh rotis is just coming in a plastic bag, just a normal label on it. And that's what people have that's the fresh roti. When I started my packaging journey, which you will see in certain snaps after, my focus was a lot on the storing of my roti. The package that I'm using right now keeps the roti fresh for a very long time. It does not, get molds in it. It does not go bad in 3 or 4 days, so my packaging was a little expensive. Other than that, the ingredients that I'm using are not locally, they're very, very pure, very organic, and you don't find them at every store. So, that was the idea. So when I took these packaged rotis to the stores, they actually saw the difference. They sometimes, thought that this was not a fresh roti because their impression of fresh roti is in just a plastic bag. But I had to make connections. I had to meet people. I've actually walked into different stores trying to convince that, you will see the difference. You take this home, call me tomorrow, try my roti. And they have actually called me. They have called me and they saw the difference. So that's why if my roti is a little bit priced higher, because you see the difference in it.
Awesome. As a follow-up to that, and an interesting point based on what you made, you take customer feedback. How do you plan to advance or research in terms of improving your product quality? And if it's not breaking the suspense to the viewers, after roti, do you have any other products in mind?
So to be honest, there is no end to this journey. I feel that I've picked up a field where there is no end. My system now allows me to make fresh puris. My system allows me to make diabetic roti. That's something that is in the pipeline. My system allows me to make multi-grain. My system allows me to make gluten-free. So there's no end to this, but I just wanted to try out this first pure roti. So if that's successful, I will actually have time to focus on my other recipes. So there are a lot of things in pipeline, and stay tuned.
That's awesome. Thank you. So I kind of take away that take one product and make sure that you find excellence in that.
Yes.
Once you break that, go to the next one.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's great. Maybe I should have asked this question to you in the beginning, but how did you choose the name FreshRoti.ca?
So pretty simple. I wanted a name which was easy for even old people to understand. Fresh Roti. If you even search for it, that name should be very easy to find, and it should just tell the story by its name. So that was the idea. Also, the logo and the color scheme that I've picked was something that gives you the feel of very organic. Green, it always attracts the eye. The yellow color is, just showing the color of saffron and other pure ingredients that we're using. So that was the idea behind the whole concept of Fresh Roti.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so it's great to hear everything in terms of like how you envision this from the drawing board to actually starting up a business, how you went from 0 to 1. While you did that, I'm interested to understand, have you taken any kind of help from professional consulting firms in terms of understanding how you can start and scale? And what are the technical challenges? How did you think about incorporating anything that's technical, automation, for example, or point of sale into your business so that you can actually fast track your growth plans?
Right. So speaking of consultation, the biggest consultation that I took for my roti was through Bakerpedia. And they're consultants who help you do bakery stuff and then help you in formulating a recipe that gives a better shelf life to, because I was having a lot of trouble giving better shelf life to my product. So I took consultancy in terms of food because I needed that. In terms of revenue and, all the finances, there are a lot of tools available in the market. It's just that you need to know how to navigate. There are a lot of loans available for women entrepreneurs. There are fundings available. So it's just that you have to navigate. And I was fortunate enough to have those mentors in my family who guided me through.
Excellent. Those are like really good points. And for anyone that's wanting to start, can you repeat the name of that consultancy that you went to?
It's called Bakerpedia. It's on. It's a huge marketplace for bakers all over Canada. And they're very supportive. They will give you a person one-on-one, and they also visit your location if you need more help. And so yeah, that's something to look into for all the bakers.
Okay, that's awesome. So Tania, like when I was speaking to you before the shoot started, I understood that you had a very busy and a happening life. Like you used to go out for a swim, you used to go out with your child for hockey practices, and from there to actually doing this hustle of FreshRoti.ca. I'm sure that's taking a lot of toll on your mental health, especially. How do you deal with it? And what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs like you to deal with mental health?
Right. So yeah, very, very good question. It did take a toll on me initially. It was very, very hard for me. I was working 10 hours a day. I could not give time to my son. The first initial few weeks were very hard, but then of course, as the days go by, I was getting pro on what I was doing. I was improving every day. I was trying to come back home on time and spend more time. So I found my way through it. It was difficult, but of course I had to fight for it by myself. So I found my way through. When the work is going smooth, I think everything else just falls down in space. So it was difficult initially, but now I think I'm just used to that lifestyle.
Excellent. Okay. And coming to the next part of your growth again. So the South Asian diaspora is spread across North America. Say for someone that's sitting in Yellowknife or in BC or Saskatchewan, if they want to have your fresh rotis, how do you think they can get access to it? Are you open for any franchising models? Let's give us like a little bit of tidbits on that.
So everybody, exciting news. I would just say for the franchise, the dough is rising. Keep the doors open. Rise along with us with the franchise model coming very soon.
So anybody that's watching Tania today in How We Started, please follow her. And if you are interested to be part of this growth journey, the success journey, follow Tania, and the franchise model could be out soon. Thank you, Tania.
Thank you.
All right. So I think we have come to the almost end of this episode. Beautiful insights. To end this, I want to ask you, what advice will you have as a successful business owner of two businesses What advice do you have for young women entrepreneurs like you aspiring to start their dream business?
I would say to all the people, focusing especially for women, that just come out of your comfort zone, do what you like, live your passion. We have all the tools available in the market to help us come out of all the challenges. Just try to navigate, be smart at your decisions. Don't wait, just be fast, and just get through it, and everything will fall in place. So good luck to everybody for their journeys, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, it was a pleasure having you in How We Started and helping our viewers understand the growth journey of how you went from 0 to 1. And as always, we ask viewers that if you have any questions that you want us to ask our future guests, please put that on our comments, and we are going to be sure to ask those questions to our future entrepreneurs as well. And if you find value in this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So that's going to motivate us to bring many more entrepreneurs and fruitpreneurs like Tania to our show and give you value. Again, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more such episodes in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tania.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.